We are live. Good evening, folks. Is it still Thursday?
Yes, it's Thursday.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Andy Vitale, host of My Fight Our War. And tonight we have a very special guest. Tonight we have Suzannah Masonia, and she is in Alabama, and she is with Ride With Me Addiction Support. And you know what? I almost forgot, man. We can't start this show because Thing is here. There's Thing. She's jumping in as always. And of course, the rest of Thing is also with us. And that's OG's in the house. So there's OG.
Hi guys, I'm here taking notes.
And like I said, tonight, we've got a very special guest with Lori. And we're going to be catching up with her. She is in Alabama over by Huntsville. And going to be sharing a bunch of good things. And she is getting ready for our friend, Boston 2%. Mm-hmm. So let's get Lori in here. Lori.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
hello.
Lori, welcome to My Fight Our War.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be live. And I watch y'all and y'all become addictive to me.
Oh, well, that's great, man. Well, I tell you what, every time we come on and there's certain people, we see their names pop up, and you're one of them, man. So thank you so much for your support and all that good stuff. I mean, we're all one big family here, and thank you for all you do.
Yes, sir.
And you just said Alabama. You're just you said by Huntsville, right?
Yes, sir. We are about 25 minutes west of Huntsville. We are where I live is about 6 minutes off of I-65, which goes all the way down to the Gulf. About an hour south of Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, man. I tell you what, I know that you've got some events going on. We kind of discussed that a little bit coming up, and we definitely would love to take part in anything we can. So definitely please keep us updated, and we would love to join you.
You might regret saying that because we're busy, and y'all might be relocating down here just like Boston.
I was just going to bring that up, and as we had a couple weeks back, Boston 2% was a guest on our show, and just love Boston. So what's the countdown? How long before he gets to you?
We started the countdown today, 10 days.
10 days. I know when we were on the show, we were going back and forth, and me and Boston just hit it off, and he's to say high energy is good. Mm-hmm. And when me and him will get going, boy, it's just it's a treat, and we're gonna try to work something out while he's on the road. And just like instead of that, where's Waldo, we got where's Boston. So we're gonna be doing that as well. So I'm hoping he'll pop on here tonight with us sometime with some comments.
Popping in as soon as he gets off work.
Oh yeah, we got the old Boston man, but that's awesome. What's that?
He's jealous that he's not on here with us to start.
As he should be.
Oh man, he is a good dude, man, he speaks so highly of you and everything that you guys got going on down there. So
man, he's crazy. I mean, the whole story is just crazy, insane.
Yeah, and the thing is too, we were me and Boston, and in fact, our last guest, Skylar Ray, we were talking about some of these things, and it's funny because we've all met, and of course, our arch enemy here is addiction and everything that goes along with it. Everything that has to do with it is, pisses us off. But like I told Boston, I go, isn't it crazy that we actually should be thanking addiction, though? Because if it wasn't for that piece of crap addiction, none of us would know each other.
Right.
But it made the mistake of, being a little too cocky, because now, instead of destroying us, it's made us stronger. It's made us as one just huge family to kick its butt.
Oh, Satan's trembling in his boots.
Oh, we ain't got no chance, man. We got the Alabama Slammer. You got Lori.
So, I can tell you how, you just kind of tell me what you want to know.
Well, I tell you, first, right from the get, let's just, a little bit about yourself and how you started on this journey and what got you going. Was it with personal issues, family issues that got you involved with addiction and recovery and all that? So go ahead, just tell us a little about yourself and what got you involved.
Well, my dad, he passed away at the age of 27 from alcohol. I was 7 and my brother was 9. So my mom, she struggled to raise us. And so my biological grandfather, he had drowned in a fishing accident when my mom was a baby. And my grandmother had remarried to a man very intelligent, and he was like the highest paid instrument mechanic at NASA. He was a farmer. He was a founding member of the church. And so, we were left there, for them to raise us, take care of us while my mom worked. And needless to say, some horrible things happened to me as a child for over a period of like 10 years. So it caused me to do some really bad things, make some really poor decisions in my life as a young adult. And so when it come time for me to get married, because I always said I would never get married, and he was from Detroit. How funny is that? Yeah. And unfortunately, addiction, destroyed my marriage. So it was almost like in the bloodline. So I was divorced for 22 years, and he passed away this past December. But I have 2 wonderful children, 5 wonderful grandchildren. And then I have a child who has been in addiction since she was 14. And I'm raising her 3 children. And the oldest one, who is 15 now, he just lost his dad to addiction in March. Jeez. So we went through a lot, from December to March. But I'm just going to be raw. Can we do that on here?
Hey, this is My Fight Our War, man. We don't sugarcoat anything here.
My goal is to help somebody,
That's exactly what we're doing. So just let her rip.
When Caden came to me, the child services brought him. I owned my own business, brought him to my work and put him in my arms when he was a baby, like 8 months old. And so he's, even though, yes, he's my grandson, he's like my son. Mm-hmm. And then another man came in the picture with my daughter, and she had 2 more children. So about 8 years ago, and keep in mind, I have my mom, dad, grandparents. I have nobody, living. My son's out living the American dream, so I've always pretty much been on my own. I'm very, very independent and stubborn, which most Italian women are, So, they called me to come back to DHR and said, make sure the other grandmother comes from Tennessee and brings the 2 youngest children. And I thought, okay, she's going to get custody of them because she had always had them. And they said because the dad lived with his mom and his meth level tested so high, they have to go with you, Miss Masonia, or go into foster care.
Oh, jeez. So you had no idea that was coming, huh? You were pretty much blindsided by that.
I was blindsided. I was selfish. Because I planned to retire and be at the beach with my toes in the sand, living the dream. And because I was very selfish, I'll just be honest. I was very selfish. And so they came to me with the clothes on their back. Nothing, no diapers, no nothing. One was 2 and one was 5. So it wasn't what I wanted for my life. And so we went to this church, and my oldest grandson, he was like 8, 9 years old. He sang in the choir, and they had practice on a Saturday. And he said, everybody in my family can sing but me. And he was like, if you don't go to choir practice with me today, Nana, he said, I'm going to quit the choir. And I had planned to commit suicide that day at 3:00.
Oh,
wow.
And I was like, okay, I'll go to choir practice, and then I'll take him to my brothers. The other 2 will be in Tennessee with their grandmother. At 3:00, I'll eat this bottle of pills. I'll check out of here. I don't have to worry about nobody, and nobody has to worry about me. That was my mindset at that time. Did I have addictions? Back in the day, I smoked lots of weed, but I was always that person that got picked out at concerts and stuff. And, you know, we don't smoke in here. Like I tried to do things where I didn't fit in. But that day, I went to choir practice, and all I can tell you is that when I came to my senses, I had a microphone in my hand, singing a song I had never heard before, singing it like I had known it all my life. And I had something happen to me that only if it's happened to you would you understand, you know? And that was like a true encounter that God is real. If I ever doubted God was real in that moment, I knew he was.
Mhm.
So I called my best friend and I said, look, I need you to go with me to the park today at 3:00. And we're so tired. It's like, okay, it don't matter what. We're going to bury a body. What we going to do? You know,
That's a ride or die friend right there.
Yeah, that's my ride or die. So that day on April the 7th, it was my daughter's birthday. Instead of dying, I started living. And I went for 8 months every Saturday, rain, snow, sleet, or hell. And I taught on forgiveness somewhere in a park in this town every Saturday. My ministry at that point did not even have a name. You know, it was just, I was out there doing what I felt that I was supposed to do until, number one, I could forgive myself, you know, for being so selfish, and that I could forgive my daughter for being an addict. I don't think I know anybody that when they're so innocent and young that says, I want to be a drug addict when I grow up.
No,
Never
no,
say that.
no.
So we started, and today my ministry is pretty much nationwide. And I founded this event. It's called the Addiction Eviction Rally. And man, I'll go back to that first year, and I was like, golly, that was, you know, it was amazing. And it's like, it can't get no better than that. And the next year, it's like, wow, you know, well, we just had year number 6, and hundreds and hundreds of people, bikers. I've got some biker friends called Faith Riders down in Grantville, Georgia. They came up, and I was doing a street revival up in Knoxville, Tennessee back in November. And I was actually the host. There's over 400 homeless people that live under this bridge. And so the musical artists that were there, they were like, well, who are you? You know, with that little Southern voice. And I told them who I was. And they was like, well, what do you do? And when I told them, they was like, man, when we were in our addiction, we tore up so much. We just want to give back. We want to come to that event. And these are people that are high on the charts. Like, I had no clue who they were. You know, I just stay in my lane and do my thing. But
You talk about the entertainers? You talking about the entertainers who were asking? That is awesome.
Clean Slate, Redeemed, J-List. It was just phenomenal how these people just started reaching out to me. And I usually start, like I'm planning now for June. It's always the first Saturday in June. So I get a phone call back in February, and it's this energetic, crazy person. It says, hey, my name's Patrick. They call me Boston. He was like,
oh boy,
he's on, by the way.
Rally that you're having down there, man, and I'm coming. I'm buying a plane ticket and I'm coming. And I was like, okay, come on. So I go to the airport, you know, and I'm like, am I fixing to put a serial killer in my van, you know? And, no, we met at the airport, and he got to meet the people. Everybody just came together, kind of like how OG you and I are right now, you know?
Yep.
We have family. And the funny thing about Boston was I've never seen him not be able to talk. And that event was so powerful. And it's the first time in 6 years it poured down rain all day long. But we had the city had connected like tents to the pavilions. The city gives us a free place to have the event. I mean, it's amazing the sponsorships that we have. And when it comes Boston's time to give his testimony, Manny, he couldn't talk. He couldn't say a word.
No kidding.
I mean, like something shut him down. And so
that's intense, man, because we both know Boston.
Yes.
And
who's watching, by the way?
And just to let you know,
he's here.
Boston is on with us.
Love, man.
He is on. I love you, Boston.
And so he left, and he contacted my pastor, and he was like, I got to come back to Alabama and give my testimony. And he was here like a month or so ago. But during this time, the Lord spoke to me and said that y'all got it all wrong. He said, there's only one person that can get through to your daughter, and that is Boston, 2%.
Whoa.
I hadn't heard from my daughter in months and months and months. And so I was like, Boston's going to think I'm crazy. But I told him, I said, you're not coming back to give your testimony. You were sent here in the beginning for an assignment. You have an assignment here, and I need you to pray and ask God to show you what that assignment is. I'm not going to tell you. And so
This is, I just want to go back again. When you had that last event is the first time you met him, right? When you picked him up so that was the first time. And then he's at the event with you, you guys are interacting. Everything's fine. Everything's good. And then all of a sudden coming up next, we got Boston 2% and then shut down. Nothing.
Right.
And then, so he leaves, goes back, and you guys do still have contact back and forth throughout this,
right?
And then how long was it after he left that you had that intervention with that you knew that Boston had to be the one? How long ago was that?
It was
after he left
the first time.
It
made no sense to me, and because my daughter's the type that will cuss you out, tell you to get off her property. You know, she's something serious.
And how old is she?
She is 32.
Okay. So I just was trying to get the time frame here. I'm still kind of speechless myself about Boston being speechless, man. So I mean, that just shows you the power of this. So so you let him know, but without telling him. You didn't tell him what?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So when he told my pastor he wanted to come back, I got a migraine headache for 2 days, just throwing up nonstop. And it was on the Saturday that he was here. I'd already picked him up at the airport. I gave him I have 2 vehicles. I gave him a car to drive the whole time he was here. I was here sick as a dog. And I went to sleep and I was praying, God, please show him why he's here, what the assignment is. Manny, OG. When I woke up about almost 2 hours later, my feet hadn't even hit the ground. And Boston texted me. He said, hey, where's your kid? So I thought he was talking about my grandson because they've got to be really close. And I was like, he's here with me. He said, no, I'm talking about your daughter. And I about just lost it. And he said, tell Caden I'm on my way to get him and I'm going to see your daughter. So Caden texted her and said, Mom, are you home? She said, well, I can be in 5 or 6 minutes. And he said, can I come and bring somebody with me? She had no clue who this was. Never heard of him. So
she didn't meet him didn't meet him before, right?
No, because she was not in our life.
Oh, that's right. No. Okay.
So they go out there. I'm talking backwoods country. I'll have to show y'all when you come where you can drive your car through the creek and that kind of thing. And he walks in and he said, Lori, I wish I could have recorded it. My grandson goes outside with the dog and my daughter looks at him and whelps up and just starts pouring her heart out to him, having no clue who he is. Whoa. And since that day, they developed a relationship, like a trust relationship. So he knows more about my daughter than I do. And so when he came back to give his testimony about a month ago, and they went to see her on Saturday, that Sunday, my daughter walked in the church. I about just fell out and fainted. It was crazy. She only stayed about 15 minutes, but she came. And she's really going through, some things right now that don't look good. You know what I mean? But Boston, he knew before I did, but she trusts him, so he didn't tell me. And I so respect that, So I know that he has a purpose here, a huge purpose. Just like we have a purpose, how we're connecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Distance does not separate people who are connected in spirit or have the same heart. for people that are lost, broken, addicted. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
without a doubt.
many oftentimes people don't want you in their home. They don't want you in their church. They don't want you in your car. I've got a van. I had prayed over a year, God, please provide me a van. And I get a call one day that says, hey, you know anybody that's looking for a van? I was like, as a matter of fact, yeah.
I just think I do.
Yeah. And her name's Bertha. I love her. I'll drive her till the wheels fall off. And it says, ride with me. I have hauled people to rehab. I've picked people up out of ICU, driven them 5 hours to Knoxville. I deal with a lot of programs up there that helps people. I go out, I feed the homeless. I mean, I figured the way that her healing is going to come is the harder I work to help somebody else.
Man, I tell you, Lori, this, how you said, things sometimes what we want, and sometimes things are going really good, like for even recovery, like for me, man, you're doing things, you start to recover, you start to make some changes in your life. You're going down this path and things are going good. It's like, this is it. And then all of a sudden, something changes. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be doing this. And you keep trying your hardest to do this certain thing. And it's just like the harder you try, all of a sudden it's like quicksand and you're going in this different direction. Because it
Right.
doesn't matter what you want. It's matter what the big guy upstairs wants. And you can't fight it because what's meant to be is meant to be. And just like you said about how that feeling that you had when you were at choir and that feeling came over you, there's a place in Detroit called the Father Solana Center. And I go there. I love that. It's one of my happy places. And Father Solanus is soon to be a saint. He's there in the tomb, and I go there and I pray. And this day, when I first started my Fight Our War, I was at the tomb praying, and there's a big cross on the wall, and there's people around it are kneeling at the cross or at the tomb. And that day, I was doing my same thing, and I'm sitting there praying. And then all of a sudden, it was just like if you're laying in the sun and you have your eyes closed and like it's bright sunny, and then like clouds will come over, it gets dark, and then the clouds leave. I remember just all of a sudden just feeling this very strange sensation, not good or bad, just different. And I just kept praying. I'm like, please just give me the strength. Give me the strength. I want I want more. Just I need to know. And all of a sudden, it felt like that, like the clouds passed, and it was so bright. And I remember I opened my eyes, and there was the cross right there. And I was just looking up, and I just started bawling. And at the same time, I'm praying, and I felt this like it was in my chest. It was so strong and powerful. It was like, this is my Fight Our War. This is reaching out. This is talking to people. This is not, you could stumble, you could fall. Staying down is not an option. It doesn't matter if I want to. It's just, it takes over. So when you say about that, it's a feeling that unless you have it, you don't understand. As soon as you said that, I understood, man. And it's just such a beautiful feeling, man. And it just, the best part is, just like you, what's the first thing you do? Share it.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's amazing. And just like you said, I mean, if it wasn't for all this, me and you wouldn't be sitting here talking. You in Boston.
And the thing is in the Bible, and I'm not a person that knows the whole Bible, I never will, but I know what I know. You know what I mean? I know John 3:16, but the Bible does tell us that we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. God did not sustain you, Manny, or me through the things I went through from the time I was a child, not to go out and say, hey, you're not the only one. You're not by yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
So
Yes.
if the only help I can give you is to listen to you, I'm all ears, but I have no fear of going in a trap house. None. So there's been times, Manny, where the cops would say, here, get behind us. I'm like, no, you get behind me, because they're used to you coming up in here, but you get a crazy mama coming up in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
You don't mess with Mama Bear.
And I tell you what, but I don't care who knows it. I have met some of the most amazing people with the most genuine hearts that are in addiction than I have that are preaching in the church.
Yes, we were talking, I can't remember which guest it was, and we were talking about all the amazing people who are counselors, coaches, these people who go to school for years and years to get all these degrees and helping and all these different things. And God bless them, because some of these people who are doing this, some of them have never had addiction or issues themselves or family members, but they're those just caring people who see the agony that addiction causes to the person and the family, and they want to help. And it's like, for those people to do that and what they're jumping into, God bless them. But like for me, when I started my fight, it was one of the first things I said is, listen, I have absolutely zero experience as a counselor. I've got no degrees, none of that, no diplomas on my wall. But what I have is experience. I am one of you. My story was, I was taken to the hospital. I was yellow as a banana. I don't know if you've heard my story at all, where they gave, I was in the hospital for 30 days, organ failure, pancreas, kidneys, liver shutting down because of drinking a fifth and a half a day. And then they finally woke me up one morning and said, Manny, your organs were failing. Now they have completely shut down. There's no coming back from that. You've got less than 6 weeks to live. Hospice came in, said goodbye to my family, my friends. That was it. And hospice came in, took over my care, and they were taking blood. And the next day they came in with more and more doctors to take more blood. I'm like, why are you taking, they wouldn't tell me what they were doing. And this went on for 7 days. Every time they came in to take blood, there was more and more doctors, more and more doctors. Finally, the 7th day, I'm laying there. My room is packed with doctors, all staring at me like I was like an exhibit at a zoo. And the doctor that told me I was going to die, Dr. Death, he's at the foot of the bed. He grabs my ankle and he starts smiling and laughing at me. Well, I wasn't in the mood for that. So I'm like, you freaking prick. You're telling me I'm going to die here, and you're laughing at me. And his associate's a younger female, and she starts crying. She goes, Manny, and she sits down, starts crying, hold my hand. She goes, we're sending you home, but not to die. She said, you are a complete organ failure. Done. Pancreas, kidneys, liver. Done. Hospice taken over. She goes, the reason we're here and kept taking blood is all of a sudden there was movement in your labs, your blood work. Now your pancreas, kidneys, and liver are back functioning 100% normal. Here I am. January 27th coming up will be 5 years. And I have not taken any medication. And Lori, back then, 5 years ago, COVID shut the world down. So when I left, I was supposed to have all this intense therapy. Everything was closed. COVID shut the world down. So I never had any counseling, no AA, no sponsors, no nothing. I never had any withdrawals. I'd never had any cravings. It's like, just like you said about the Bible, I know there's a cover on the top and bottom and pages, and that's about it. But the key is faith. I know the God above. I was involved in a shooting where I got shot in the face. I got a plate under my eye. I got stabbed in the face, all this stuff. But the faith that you just talked about, I don't know if you noticed, I turned into Boston there for a second, because the more you were talking about this connection, I felt it with you, because it was just like, I get the intensity and all that. And it is so cool talking with you. And, you are family now, man. You're stuck with us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you this cool.
Oh, no, this is, story. Yeah. You're not close to being done, man. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that this is just awesome.
It even gets better.
Yeah.
So, I was working in a, apartment complex as a leasing agent. And that's funny because, Boston's a leasing agent. So, I got fired. Like, they brought me a letter and said, you're terminated. You've got 7 days to move out. And school was starting in 2 weeks, and I have 3 kids, So I called my lawyer. My lawyer said, oh, no, they can't do that. They got to give you 30 days. I said, no, if Jesus can get up in 3, I can be out in 3. I can be out in 7, So we moved into this apartment, packed into this 2-bedroom. It was just hilarious. And this guy, his name's Luther. Love that man. He called me. He said, Lowry. That's what they Southern mean, Lowry. He was like, that house that you asked me about 4 months ago? Because I already knew. this company was notorious for hiring you after you've been there 5 years because they don't want to give you benefits or, raises and that kind of thing. And, he said, I got this house over on Virginia Drive. If you want to look at it tomorrow. He knew nothing that was going on with me. And that's where I'm talking to you from now. So I got fired on a Thursday, and I started a job at this big plant on Monday, which was something I never done before. And so I got hurt. I was a full-time employee, and there's a little lady, because I'm a healthy girl, and my coworker was through a temp service, and she, like I make two of her. And she was like, Miss Lori, I don't feel comfortable doing this job. It was the first time we ever did it. She said, will you swap places with me? And I was like, yeah, sure, And a pole fell. A metal pole fell. It's probably 8 feet long. I don't know how much it weighed. It hit me in my temporal artery and knocked me out cold. And the doctor said, I don't know who was with you. He's like, but you should have been dead. And so I haven't worked since. Like, my doctor said that I am severely disabled. And like, I'll never call myself disabled, even though, like, there's days like, say that these storms are coming, it kind of messes with me. And they want me to have neck surgery because I still have headaches, but everybody got some kind of headache, and God won't let me get a job, and if you do the math, the numbers do not add up. But I get up every day and I go out there and I witness, or I hand out water, a brown bag with a sandwich and a bag of chips, and I'll just sit on the curb and listen to people, or whatever I have to do. And we don't do without anything. We got more than enough, and so I believe, that God truly means for me to spend the rest of my time on this earth helping people. That's what I'm called to do. That is my purpose, Manny, just like that's your purpose. You may do it through Harley Davidson's. I may do it through handing out sandwiches or whatever, but we all have a purpose. If any of y'all are listening and you don't know your purpose, ask the Lord to show you, because you got one, and if you didn't, you wouldn't be on this live tonight. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
He can use anybody.
And that's just it. You know what they say, man. If just like that old saying, if you don't ask, the answer's always no. Well, I tell you what, if you want to know what your purpose is, the thing is, when I started seeing these results and the changes in my life, when I got cleaned up and started My Fight Our War and all that, it was like, how do I ask for these things? How do I, it was like, and then I watched some of these different shows, and like with different people, like different things, like some people like with Joel Osteen and different preachers, different pastors and all this and that and whatever. But I listened to all these different messages, and it's just like, ask for what you want and just listen.
Right.
And like you said too, Lori, is the one thing you said about helping people is, they're like, how do I help? And there's not a wrong way, as long as you don't give up on someone. That's the only wrong way. Yeah. But like this, like you just said, Lori, sometimes you don't. So I had a I had a person one time say, man, I don't have the answers. I said, none of us have all the answers. Sometimes it's just listening, like you just said, Lori.
Right. And this is what I tell everybody: don't take no advice from me. Don't. I'll do what I can do to help you, but don't take no advice from me. My life was nothing but a bunch of failures. But you know what? You got to fail sometimes in order to learn.
Exactly.
Y'all excuse me. I have to plug my phone up.
You do what you got to do. And that's the thing too, man. Just like I will never tell people, they're like, tell me, some of them you're so lost. It's like, tell me what to do. Tell me. It's like, just like you just said. And I always tell people, I would say, listen, I will never tell you, do this, to be sober. Do this to help with PTSD. Do this. What I will do is tell you what helped me. What I will tell you is what helped some of our other family, and we will give suggestions, and then you see what works for you. Because I've had people come on here that said, my family says I have to do this in order to get sober. Or they'll say, man, I had people that were in these other organizations that said, if I don't do this in this order, if I don't do this, then I'm like, first of all, screw that. I mean, fuck that. This is your life. What matters is what works for you. This is Lori's life. This is Manny and this is our lives to figure out.
Well, I tell everybody you got two choices, and that's live or die. And that's what happened to me on the day that I had that encounter is like, Lori, it's live or die. Which one you going to do? It's no different with addiction than it is everything else. How bad do you want to live? How bad do you want to change? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Number one, you got to cut anything that's toxic out of your life. And sadly, that's family a lot of times,
Family, friends.
Somebody should have shouted right there. But, you can't continually go back to the devil's playground and play with the same playmates. You can't do it.
No, Lori, you going backwards again when you talked about that day going to choir with your 8-year-old grandson. You said that day you were going to commit suicide.
Oh,
I mean, were there times in the past that were there attempts? Were there, before that, or did anyone know? Because they always say the person who's, tells you they're going to kill themselves are the ones who don't do it because they're reaching out. It's the ones that never say a thing. Then all of a sudden it happens. They are like, they never saw it coming. So, I mean, was this, we really didn't, go further on that. As far as you feeling that that's what you had to do that day. And then here that happened to you, thank God, at choir practice. Did you ever tell, well, obviously all of us about that, but when that happened that day, did you, like your close friend or your ride or die, did you say, hey, listen, man, something happened this day because I was going to do this? Did you ever reach out and tell somebody that?
Yeah, actually.
I mean, I know you are now. You're telling all of us, but that day when this happened, man, that had to be so intense.
The pastor of that church, I hired him. He has a lawn care business, and I got him like 5 properties to do the lawn care. And he's like, just hold on. He said, something's about to happen. He was, I guess, in the process of becoming the pastor of this church. And when that happened, he came to my office, and, Lucas was just a baby. We didn't have a car seat. I mean, it was just crazy. And he said, Lori, and this man, like, I would throat punch somebody that talked bad about this guy. I would. And I throat punch pretty hard. I'm telling you.
I can't wait to meet you, man.
He came to me and he said, when you're ready, I want you to start coming to church. But until you're ready, Lori, what can we do to help you? Because when someone is beat down, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, you can't go and beat somebody over the head about Jesus or with the Bible because they're not hearing it. You know what I mean? But what you can do is you can show them love like Jesus. You know what I mean? Yes. Love, compassion, give your time, and that's the time. You can't get time back. You know what I mean? And so many people are so lost in this world because nobody's ever made time for them, and that was me as a child. And I hear so many of these people's testimonies, and Manny, it was insane. Like I started getting these phone calls. Like, I've been to San Francisco, I've been to Fresno, I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Central Europe. I've told my testimony all over the world. And like the first time I ever told my testimony was here in Huntsville, Alabama. And I was like, I had it all written out what I was going to say. And it was like, my son was there. You know, he was young, living at home at that time. And he didn't know what happened to me as a child. And it was like, God said, throw that paper away and get real. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this, you know. And I told my story, and 32 people got saved. And you would not believe the grown men, Manny, that came to me after and said, how did you do that? I was in a boys' camp growing up, and I was molested. I was beat. I was raped. It don't just happen to women. It happens to men, you know. And so many people are stuck in traditionalism. You know what I mean? And how it'll shame the family name, or how it's going to make the family look. That if the graveyard could talk, you know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
How many people have committed suicide because they were scared to reach out and tell somebody their story? And I want to change that for anybody that I can come in contact with. You know what I mean? Okay, well, let's get you some counseling, or come over to my house 2:00 in the morning and have coffee. Or I'll never, ever, ever turn my back on anybody ever, because I had nobody, Manny. I had nobody.
See, and that's the thing too, Lori, is I mean, the more you said, sometimes I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you, because some of the stuff that you're saying, just like I saw OG, when you started talking about when you first time you told your testimony, what'd you do? You said you had everything, you had it all right here, and you were okay, and all that. For me, I've never done this. I never had a show. I never did public speaking. I never did a podcast. I had no clue what I was doing. The only thing I did know is to stand up and talk to like 2 family members or 2 friends. If I had to stand there and talk, I'd have anxiety attacks. I couldn't do it. And now here I am doing live shows all over the place. But the one thing that from day one, I never had a script. It's not that I planned it that way, but the first time, just like you, that first time, and my mine's out there as well. My first time I told my story, I sat down and I said, let's do this. And I had no idea where I was going to start, finish, or anything. I just started talking. Next thing you know, I mean, the laughter, the tears, everything that went along with it. It was just incredible. And from that day on, we never use scripts for anything, because there's no need to when you talk the truth, when you talk from your heart and your soul.
Right.
And
I don't allow anybody to speak at my event. And I have people that offer me money to hold a microphone. Some people just want to hold a microphone, and that just is a pet peeve of mine. My thing is, if you can't speak from the heart, you don't have a testimony.
No.
And I asked God, I'm like, God, who is it that's supposed to come? I've called people. This one little guy out in Texas, he tried to shoot himself with a shotgun, and he's all disfigured. And he said, God told him, he said, I couldn't even kill myself right. He was like, but God told me not to have my face fixed, because that's how I was going to get through to people. You know,
that was that was his mission.
And I'm like, hey, you know, I want to invite you. And he have never had anybody say no. But my thing is, if you have a true testimony, it doesn't have to be written, and it's not going to touch somebody if you're up there flipping pages and forgetting where you are in your written. Your testimony is already written in your heart, you know. And so my thing is, we're getting ready to kick off these youth ministries, you know, to help young kids that are from broken homes and mentor them to know their worth. And we want to hear their stories, because people, you know, want to focus on the adults, you know, that are living the consequences of the choices they made. But what about these kids that maybe we can keep them out of the system? So my ministry now will have 3 ministries under its umbrella.
The thing is too, it's like, you know, I've had people ask, what do I do? Where do I go? Who do I help? Whoever needs it. And that's not just us. That's just not the person who's dealing with the active addiction. We're talking about them. We're talking about their family, their friends, siblings, people who are involved in their lives. We are all affected so many different ways, man. And it's just like I'll have people that I talk to. It's just like we're dealing with someone now, a good friend of ours. It's just like it's her sister's daughter, it's her niece, but their family is they're a beautiful Italian family, very religious, very close knit, and all that. But they've never, up until this relative, never had to deal with addiction, and they are so blown away and hurt by everything that's happening. And she's telling me this story about how she had this procedure, and she's, I'm sure that taught her lesson. I was like, not even close. And some terrible things happen. And I told her, I said, I wish I could say this is the rock bottom and it's over. I'm like, this is just the beginning.
Right.
I said, because she's like, this is the most terrible thing that's ever happened. And I'm like, you know what this is for us? I go, this is just Tuesday. This is just another day. What you described as the most horrible day of your life is what we deal with every day. And she was just amazed. And like you said, that's what we do. We support. The main thing is unconditional love, support, and motivation, never judging, never bullying, and never looking down on someone. Mainly never judging, because we were people before we were addicts, and we will always be people. An addict is just a title. You're Lori, I'm Manny, that's OG. And like you said before, I didn't wake up on Tuesday when I was like 12, 13 years old and say, I'm going to, let's see, today, go play baseball with a friend. I'm going to become a drug addict today. Tomorrow, I'm going to become an alcoholic. None of us said that. There were a series of events, but as long as we never give up on ourselves or each other or faith in God, we are unstoppable.
We are. And, we have to know that everybody has a rock bottom, but we can't pick that rock bottom for them.
Thank
we
you.
have to get out of their way. And are we become enablers? You know what I'm saying? As a mother, that is the hardest thing, because we want to be fixers. We birth these children, We're supposed to be able to fix anything that goes wrong, but that is not for us to fix. And we have to realize that what's over our heads still under God's feet. It's a little thing to him,
That's so. Wait, say that again. Say that again.
What's over God's feet.
You know what? And the thing is, too, obviously, I'll never understand the mother's love from that aspect, except for my love for my mother and all that. But you nailed it too, because that's the questions that I'm getting asked by this person's sister. She's like, then she's apologizing to her sister and the rest of the family. I am so sorry. It's like, and she said, what are you sorry for? You didn't do it. Well, I'm so embarrassed. Again, in a lot of the cases, and you know exactly what I'm talking about too, man, there's a lot of times where the person, if it's not ourselves, if it's a family or friend who's involved in this, everyone's mad at each other. Everyone's upset except for the person that is dealing with it, because they could care less at that point, because like you said, what we think is rock bottom isn't even close for some people. And all we can do, man, is just never give up the love and support, man. And that's what you're doing, man. I tell you, Lori, I cannot wait to meet you.
Teach people that there's a root. Everything has a root, whether that was childhood trauma, whether that was the person that was raped, whether that was the person that had, an abortion, whatever, they often self-medicate to cover up this trauma, and then they get in with this crowd of people where they feel like that group of people looks up to them for something that they've missed in their life. So I'm just going to be raw right here. Okay.
Do it.
You got this circle of thugs, right? And I'm the head thug, and they all want to be my friend because I'm bad. You know what I mean? I'm bad, and going to jail don't scare me. You know what I mean? And then when they get arrested, those friends are nowhere to put money on your books. The phone starts blowing up. I want my kids. I'm going to get my kids. You know what I'm saying? No, you're not. No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? I'd love for you to get your kids. You know what I mean? But it amazes me that these good friends that people think care so much about them. Number one, if they cared about you, they wouldn't be giving you crack, meth, fentanyl, and all this crap that's wiping out, our society today. And they're even giving it to our kids. And I'm going to tell you what, people, y'all don't think I'm all that or nothing like that, but I'll tell you what, if I'm wrong, you show me I'm wrong, I'll admit it, but I will stand in your face till I turn blue and draw my last breath, because it is wrong. These people, these drug dealers that are out here wearing these $300 tennis shoes and got 22s, and their kids are bringing rolls of $100 bills to school, because my daddy's a drug dealer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There, and I have a hard time. I'm being real. The Bible says, Jeremiah 29:11, God has a plan for you to prosper. I have a hard time forgiving the drug dealer. I do. I do. But the
Nothing wrong with saying that.
rapist, molester, the person that's legally selling alcohol, legally selling vapes, you know what I'm saying? It's all the same.
That's just it too, man. And I get you with, we need to forgive. We need to, that's what we're supposed to be doing. It's a lot easier saying that than it is doing it. And believe me, my past, I was a totally different person. And when things came up in my past, I definitely handled them very differently than I do now. And there's times when I get very pissed off that I just kind of look back. It's like, oh, why did I have to? Couldn't I just not be that good guy right now and just take that quick fix and be that asshole just for a few minutes and act that revenge and everything the way I used to? But then I take that breath, step back, and it's not easy, as you know, but it's what we're supposed to do. And
It is.
now
I'll
we're
tell you
helping
straight
more
up, I
people.
give easily. That is like a character defect for me. You know, um, I will do anything to help anybody. But number one, I can be angry at my child that's an addict, but don't you go slamming her mugshot on the front page of the paper and sending your kid to school to tell her kids how sorry she is, because I'll come for you. I mean, I'm just
Oh, don't mess with Mama Bear. That's just the bottom line. Don't mess with Mama Bear. Don't mess with Mama Lori, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
and about mine is she'll tell other people. Like, she'll cuss me out every time she talks to me. It's just like, I don't, like, I answer the phone and just take it if I'm lucky enough that she even calls. But she'll tell other people, call my mom, she'll help you. My mom can help you, but I can't help her. But God sent people like Boston, like you, like
Mm-hmm.
OG, like
yeah,
Lynn, all the people that's in this group. You know what I'm saying? That
exactly.
can help mine, because I can't help her. But while she's y'all's assignment, I can go out here and help somebody you can't help. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that's what it's about, man. It's about that giving. Then, like I said, the prayers go up, the blessings come down. And
Right.
for the longest time, I just thought that those were just words that worked for other people to feel better at the moment. I was like, that's not real. I mean, that's just, come on, man. In our past, it was like, prayers and blessings, that it's not real. It doesn't exist. Actions is what's real. You piss me off, you get punched. You get punched, you get stabbed. You get stabbed, you get shot. It just escalates. It gets worse and worse and worse. How is praying gonna take care of that? Well, I'll tell you what. I
Try.
mean, oh my God, Lori. And I go back to the beginning when you were talking about that day at choir practice, that feeling that you had. I will never forget that feeling at Father Solanus when I just opened my eyes. It was like opening my eyes for the first time. It was such a beautiful feeling, and it was intense. It was strong. It was like for the first time in my life, I had a purpose.
And you felt worth, that you
Oh,
weren't damn
Mm-hmm.
goods, and you're not a mistake by being born.
that
And
this thing, yeah, exactly. And but the sharing and everything that you're doing, what's going on with your events and stuff like that? I mean, and people that are that want to. What's the best way for people to follow you and your material, your organization as well? Where do we reach out to get a hold of you?
well, I'm Lori Suzannah Masonia on Facebook. That's capital Masonia. And my group is Ride With Me Addiction Support. And then, you can ask to be added to the group. It's a private group because I don't like people that don't understand addiction coming in there with smart remarks. So I keep it private.
That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So call me 256-374-3202. Call me, text me, you know, give anybody my number any time of day. You know what I mean? Because even though I'm in Alabama, don't think I can't find you a resource in Detroit or Monroe, Monroe, Michigan, Flint. We've got people everywhere up there. And like I said, I just, if you want me bad enough, you're gonna find me because I'm not hard to find, And I'm gonna tell
Man.
you, just wait. I mean, y'all don't even know. And like, I feel like I've been out here, and I'm fixing to probably like tick somebody off if they're, like watching this, but I really don't care if I hurt your feelings. Is like, when people think of addiction in this town, I am kind of the face because I've been doing this a long time. And there's always somebody wanting to come behind and do a rally or do what you do. You know what I'm saying? I had a hard time with that for a long time. But then I had to remind myself 100 other people can do it, but they're not going to do it the way I do it because the vision was given to me. So I look at myself as a footprint for other people to follow while God's bringing me into deeper water to do deeper things and bigger assignments.
Lord, I swear to God, the more you talk, we're going to be talking offline. Off after the show. We're going to. This is just the beginning. I mean, this is just the beginning of our relationship as well, because what you're saying are my thoughts and feelings 100%. And when I started doing this, like I said, I've never done anything like this. I had no idea, except I knew I was supposed to do it. And, jumping into it, I was so blessed because the first two shows I did were with Sober's Cool with Brad McLeod and Hard Knocks with Dan and Donna, and who are pretty heavy hitters in this in podcast world. And I was blessed enough that they didn't even hesitate, even though I had no clue what I was doing, no shows, no experience. I went on with them, and when I did that first show, and they said, "How many of you have you done?" I'm like, "None." And they're like, "Well, the last thing we want is like you're afraid of having a guest and just have dead air." Like, hi. So, Lori, Randy, how you doing today? Fine. So, Randy, where are you from? Detroit. It's just, sometimes you just get nervous, and they had no idea what I was going to do, but they took a chance on me. My very first interview with Brad McLeod at Sober's Cool went an hour and 10 minutes. The second one with Dan and Donna went an hour and 45 minutes. And after I got done, I was like, I love this, because talking from the heart, there was no script. There was no dead air, just like us tonight. Back and forth, just the relation, the understanding, the compassion, the motivation, the support. You could feel it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And the one thing I did learn is both shows, they said, be careful. You're going to have people who are full of shit, people who are fake profiles, fake people coming on because they want notoriety, their little 5 minutes of fame, who are using the recovery platform because they know that we are caring, giving people, and we will support. And I've seen that. I'm sure you have too, as well as the stuff coming on. And the thing is, one time when I first started, I remember told OG, I'm tired of these fake profiles and some of these hosts coming on, just full of shit. All they wanted was notoriety for themselves and followers. So I went on, and I was about to call out, some people, just let them have it. And out of the blue, I stopped. I mean, I was doing my thing, and I said, and to all the people that out there who are doing this stuff, and all of you who are in my family with the fake profiles, this, I got one thing to say to you. Welcome to My Fight Our War. Who am I to judge you? Who am I to judge you? Why you're doing this? Why are you making up fake profiles? Why are you doing all this stuff behind my back? Unless you do something, to hurt me or a family member. But these were people that were just deceiving in roundabout ways for whatever reason. So at that split second, it was like God just went, think about it, and then say it. And that's when I said, welcome. We're here for you as well. It was crazy.
Exactly.
It was crazy. Lori was like, and I remember after I did the show, I was just sitting there, and I lost it again. Got a little misty eyed. I'm like, man, this is real. What we are doing, Lori, this feeling that you felt that day of choir, that what I felt that Father Solanus is real and is so powerful that together we're unbeatable.
And Manny, this is the thing. Nobody walked through the hell I walked through to be where I am out here doing what the Lord called me to do. Nobody, I haven't walked your hell. OG hasn't walked your hell. Boston hasn't walked your hell. That is your story. Nobody can add to it. Nobody can take away from it. That is your story. And I'm going to tell you the coolest thing that ever happened to me. This was so freaking cool. A couple of years ago, I had met this lady out in Vegas in 2014 at a conference. And her name's Dr. Ginger Morgan. Very powerful, famous woman. And she's tied in with Dr. Philip Godot and his wife, Dr. Brenda Godot. And like, these are people like, I'm just Lori. I'm not doctor. I'm not, I don't have no little, initials after my name. And so she called me and something popped up on her phone about the rallies, at the rally. And she was like, I want to know all about this, blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, I want to fly you out to Fresno. I've got this supernatural women's conference coming up and I want you to be the guest speaker. Like, I was about to faint. I was like, oh, well, let me think about it. Let me pray about it. Knowing the whole time I was going to go. Okay. And so I called her back a couple of days later. I was like, okay, I'll come. So I get on a plane and I fly out there. They have like these armor bearers picking me up at the airport. They tote my purse to the hotel. I didn't lift a finger for nothing. So when it comes time to go to the conference, they had these men meet me at the door. And this voice going, from Athens, Alabama, Lori Masonia. Everybody else had like a bio that was like a mile long and all these big titles. And I, Lori Masonia. I was like, I don't even belong here. I held my head up and marched up that platform like I owned it, and I was scared to death. When I'm going to be killed. So she starts talking about like parents that, raised their grandchildren and telling them a little bit about me. And she just hands me the mic. And like, there is hundreds of people in this room of prestige, But when I get to going about addiction, I lose it. I don't even know what I'm saying most of the time, And I tell you that till this day, those people still keep in contact with me. I have pictures of me sitting at the table with these people that their necklaces was probably $30,000 and $40,000, and mine came from the Dollar General where you get $3.
You got a free bracelet too. You know what?
Yeah, and two pair of different size pearls, But,
it's so funny, Lori, because the same thing, man. We'll be doing different things. And, like I was telling OG, some of the different people and different events and different things that have happened. And it's just like, this person is this athlete, this person's this celebrity, this person's, and we're dealing with them. And I'm like, oh, I'm with the Detroit Red Wings. I'm with the Tigers. I'm with this association, Dr. So-and-so. And then I'm sitting there and they're like, and I'm like, I'm Manny.
I love it.
And so that's why I said me and you, like, it's just, there's certain people that come into your life. And I have been so blessed because I've been hitting 1,000, man, with all the guests who have been coming on our show. Is this bond, and you could just feel it, and it's real and all that stuff. So much so that the one I just had on, Skylar Ray, he's a singer. Me and him we're starting our own show together called Music and Mayhem. It's just that it's like some things are out of our hands, but it's just that and you nailed it again. Just like when you said about once you start talking about something that you are so passionate about. Like I told people, like, when they're like, where do you come up with this stuff? It's like, I open my mouth and the words come out, and it's the man upstairs, because I told, well, they put it there, that's God talking. And I go, well, because when I raised it, I go, I feel like, one of Jeff Dunham's puppets. I'm one of his dummies. I just sit here and I was like, And the words come out from God above, man. But it's that strong and that intense. And when it comes from people like us and Boston and everyone else that's in this amazing family of ours, that's when it hits home. I think it was Jamie, Jamie Tall.
She's on.
think I saw her up there, Jamie.
Hey,
But we were
Jamie.
talking about people who help us. And as I said earlier, about the ones with the degrees and the diplomas who reach out because they have all this extra talent and skills. And God bless them for doing it. But I hope I'm right. But we were talking, and one of the last ones who finally reached out to help was another person from prison and another addict that was the one that extended the hand, that found recovery themselves and was the one that reached the hand and pulled back up. And that's what we do. Someone lifts us up, we reach back with the other hand and bring that one along with us. And man, it's just an amazing feeling.
I'm excited because Jamie Tall, I think God has a purpose for her, with the youth ministry for the young ladies. It's going to be called Girls. And it's amazing that, all of this was predestined before we ever even came in contact with each other. The way I understand it is like God knew when we was in our mama's womb that we were going to be on the show with you right now. I think that is so awesome, I'll share with you. And I want to tell you something. The love of the money is the root of all evil. And I'll tell you straight up, I don't have money. I got a great heart, but what I have, if you need it and I got it, it's yours, And when I got injured, I should have got multi-million dollars. And it, workman's comp and all that crap was involved. Attorneys were involved. Mm-hmm. And they told me that because of my ministry, that if I could go out and help people and speak the word of God, I could get paid to preach. And you know what? I turned down fighting that lawsuit to do what I do today. And I do not receive 1 red cent for it. But
God bless you, man.
Because last week or 2 weeks ago, this lady lives out in Arkansas. Something just provoked me to tell her I was praying for her. And we don't keep in touch, but we know each other, And messaged me, and she was like, "You didn't know that I was just diagnosed with breast cancer." And I'm sitting in the nail salon asking God for somebody somewhere to please be praying for me. And I just got a check in the mail for $500.
Oh, wow.
That's how good my God is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
I just want to encourage anybody. You do not have to have money to get help. All you got to have is a mustard seed size faith. And people like us, we're going to help you.
That's it. You know what? Just the key is never to give up. And the key is to ask. And the thing is, put the ego aside. Reach out. You know what? That first step's the hardest, but there's people like Lori that are going to be there. If you stumble, Lori's going to be there to pick you up. Boston, Jamie, Kelly, Cameron, Tyler, Ty, Brad, Ian, Skylar, all of these people, we're here. My Fight Our War. We're here. You stumble, we all stumble, but we don't stay down. We get up. We help each other. We love each other, support each other. And man, Lori, you are awesome.
It's good to stumble.
Yeah.
It's good to stumble, to know that you can get back up. Sometimes it's good to not know how you're going to pay your light bill. Sometimes it's good to not know how you're going to put gas in your tank. Because when it gets there, you know what I'm saying? You're going to know the man upstairs got his hand on you when you're out there trying to save a life. You know what I mean?
And that's just it too, man. Is you don't look at it as a negative. I mean, people say, "Oh, I've got all these terrible things that are happening. This is happening." I go, think of it. That's building. You overcame that. Okay, you're talking about these things that happen and how pissed off you were, but you overcame it. So that means the next one that comes up, first of all, don't start the day by being pissed off. Oh, I can already tell it's going to be a crappy day. No, it's a beautiful day. You opened your eyes. It's a beautiful day. There's a roof over your head. It's a beautiful day. There's clothes on your back, food in your stomach. I have a beautiful family like Lori now in Alabama, in Boston, OG, everyone else. I am so blessed. That's stuff that money just can't buy. I'm alive. The doctors gave me 48 hours, 6 weeks, 48 hours to live. I'm talking to Lori from Alabama. I mean, life is good.
Mhm.
Life is more than good. And, when I go to all these places and they're like, where's your husband? I was like, oh, I don't have one of those, and I don't have a wife either because, we don't do that. But it's funny because people look at you like, what? I don't have time for all that because I'm on a mission. You know what I'm on a mission to, to help somebody know that
Oh man.
life can be good.
Mhm.
Well, I tell you what, I can definitely say without a doubt that my life is better now that you're in it. Um, you Boston, you're ride with me addiction support, Lori Masonia, my life's better because you're in it. And you're gonna make us stronger, what we do. And I know that we can count on you. I hope you know that you can count on us anytime. I'm known for going live at the drop of a dime. I don't record. I mean, I will if someone wants to, but it's like, hey man, you want to go live? When? Now. Yep. So I mean,
Right.
yeah, Lori, you have an
I can
open
fly
platform.
at Detroit Metro anytime. I've been known to get in my car. Me and my oldest grandson, we got in the car and just took off up there to visit some of our friends there and spend a week there on the at Detroit Beach. And you know what I'm saying? It's like it, life's too short not to enjoy it and be happy. And
Exactly.
like coming up there and people might be making fun of my accent, but I might say something that'll change their life in the process. So I keep a bag ready. I'm ready to go.
Well, I tell you what, you are if you decide to jump in that car, you jump in Bertha and you come to Detroit, Michigan,
Bertha.
you have a place to stay right here with us. You are more than welcome. You are welcome here anytime.
Well, thank you. And y'all have an open door here at my home. Keep me, in your thoughts and prayers. Keep Jamie
Always.
Paul in Boston and their ministry, and then the ministry that's coming here. Because when I tell you we're about to shake some things up, we're about to shake some things up. And you know what I'm saying? I just am glad to even be a small portion of what's about to happen.
Oh, well, Lori, please keep us informed with everything.
Yes.
Once you get something, let us know. We're going to put it out there and promote you and talk about everything that you're doing as well. Anytime. And like I said, you got something on your mind, you want your voice heard, let me know. Give me a call. I mean, you let me know and we'll go on the next day. If you call me, if it's like on a weekend or something like that, man, can we go live tonight? If I'm available, we'll go live. So you basically have your own platform whenever you want to use it.
Thank you. And likewise to y'all, I speak nothing but blessings and increases in every area of your life. Keep fighting the fight and
Thank
don't
you.
give up.
Oh man, well, God bless you, Lori. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and and for all you're doing, and for Boston and coming there too. We're going to be getting a hold of Boston and doing things coming up here shortly. But please reach out anytime, man. I look forward to talking to you.
Anytime. And I love y'all. And like I said, you got my number. Hit me up anytime.
Oh,
And
without a doubt.
if there's someone that needs another female, sometimes it's good to have somebody that don't know any parties involved. I'll
You
be glad
got it.
to listen here. So y'all stay in touch, okay?
All right, Lori. Well, you have a great night. God bless you, man. We love you.
Love you too. Good night.
All right. Bye
Good
bye now.
night. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it, man. Lori Masonia, with Ride With Me Addiction Support. Man, what a pleasure that was. What a man, what an awesome lady.
Mhm.
And I tell you what, just her words. I mean, you could just tell by her words, by her eyes, by her voice, and the actions that she does to follow it up. Lori is just an amazing person. I am so freaking glad that we had that interview. I'm so glad that we are part of her life. And when you can tell that she's not just talking shit. You
Mm-mm,
need help,
mm-mm.
Lori's going to be there. So if you guys, please support Lori Masonia. Please support Ride With Me Addiction support. Check her out. Check out Boston and Jamie and everyone else and all these families. But again, man, she's just an amazing person. So you guys have a great night. Thank you for your support. We will be responding to the comments for all of you people that that's terrible. For
Family.
all of our
Family.
family members, thank you for our family for your support and for your comments. We will be responding to them. Love you guys so much. So, and there goes Thing. There's Thing. And keep fighting the good fight. Love you guys.